All right, y'all. Welcome to our second episode here at Formula Features. Our next guest is one of the most influential tattooers of our generation, a trailblazer, an iconic figure who's truly redefined what it means to be a self-made success story in this industry. She's the first ever female winner of Ink Master, going on to becoming a judge of the show. She's a fireball inspiration to so many artists. And in spite of all of this, she's a humble queen. Oh. And we love that. Oh. I'd like to introduce to you all Ryan Ashley.
Oh my God. I feel like the last intro like that I've heard was Daenerys Targaryen. My gosh.
Breaker
Wow.
James.
I love that.
Mother of Dragons.
I love that. I love that. Yeah. Yeah. Well, welcome.
Thank you.
So grateful to have you on. Yes.
I'm so happy to be here. It's great. I love doing stuff like this with friends and real people where you can talk about real stuff. Yeah. And it's, not so surface. It's important and it's deep. And it's with people that you love and you trust. And conversations so many times go so unheard by people I think that would benefit from hearing them, So I love being a part of stuff like this. So thank you for having me. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. It was an honor when Kevin told me about that you agreed to it. I was just like, oh yeah, we got to make this happen. Yeah. So, very grateful for you.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. So I don't know if everybody is hip to this, but right now it's something that's going like crazy viral right now is the 2016 10-year, just hoopla of like everybody just like going back to 2016 and seeing what that era was. And apparently, I thought it was just me, but apparently that era was just lit for everybody. And what I realized was that 10 years ago, 2016 was when I met you, was when we did Ink Master Season 8.
Can you believe it's been 10 years?
I literally cannot believe it's been 10 years.
It's been a decade. And a decade. We can use that word. And what's crazy about it is like, it feels like only a few weeks have passed and it feels like an entirely different lifetime at the same time, right? Because I feel like the person that I was, before Ink Master, before 2016, the big year, before all of that, it's the same core, base model of who I am now and who I've always been, right? But I think, through 10 years, you grow and you evolve and you bloom so much that even though you're the same, your perspective changes and your opinions might change and so many things about you change. And what's been important for me recently is realizing that like, it's okay to let go of not only that old identity, but your old belief systems a lot of the time too. You know what I mean? It's okay to say like, you know what, I've learned a lot since then and I feel differently about that now. And be proud of yourself, you know what I mean, because of that and not cling on to that identity so tightly. You know what I mean? That you still define yourself by that person that you were 10 years ago,
You know, it's so crazy because I feel like exactly what you just said, I just learned it within the last 2 years. Like within the last 2 years.
Same.
I was actually looking at, because I hoard photos and videos, like literally, even back then when we were filming, like I documented everything. And I was just going back and like looking at, it was a photo taken. I don't know if you remember when so how Ink Master, I don't know if it's still like this now. We'll get into that, how it is now. But back then, everybody get flown in from wherever the hell. It was filmed in Jersey. And everybody gets pulled up to this hotel and you're not allowed to talk to anybody. You can't talk to anybody. Everybody is sequestered to their hotel room. And then eventually, once everybody makes it, they bring everybody down to the ballroom. And there's a bunch of tables just like this. And everybody's sitting at a round table and you still can't talk. It's like a pin drop. It's 30 people in the room and you can't talk to anybody. But anyways, they bring us outside and they're like, we're going to film you guys' intro. You guys just walk up. And I remember in this moment, I was like, I need to get to the front. I was like, I got this outfit on. I need to get to the front. And I remember I got to the front. And I just felt good, like confident about myself. And I remember looking to my left and I see this statuesque, like tiger face, gray hair, red outfit. I'm like, who the fuck is this? I don't know who she is, but she's going to win.
Stop.
It was like, it was insane to me. And I just remember thinking, like, in that moment, just like how in my mind, everybody was just so much better than me. Like, everybody was just like, this thing was super intimidating. And I didn't know how to approach the situation. And I just remember feeling so confident in that moment, going to the front to the point where it's like, you're just immediately humbled. Like, you start to realize where the fuck you are.
Yeah.
And I think it's just a testament to like life in general. It's just like, you can get in these moments where you think like you just have it all figured out. And then it'll take a split second to humble the fuck out of you. You know what I mean? And I remember from that moment throughout our stint on Ink Master, just starting to get to know you and realizing it was just like what I thought you were. I was like, oh, no, she's just like me. She's just as scared as I am. You know what I mean? Yeah. Even though we put on the face and you know, we know when to kick the confidence in, it was just like, I felt like always, since knowing you, was just like, oh, okay, I relate to her in a way that I feel like most people don't get the opportunity to.
Absolutely. And I feel the same way. Oh my God. I remember the first day of Ink Master, that the first thing I thought was, oh my God, Kelly Doty's here. Oh my God, Kelly Doty's here. Because before we even competed, I owned the oddity shop, right?
Yeah.
And I was such a fan of Kelly Doty. When I was going through my apprenticeship, my mentor was going through, because I was lucky enough to be brought up all those years ago, where when you started an apprenticeship, some of the first things that you're taught are, who were the people that came before you that paved the way for you? And so the first thing that you're taught is respect, right? Respect for the people that not only carved the path, but the people that made it legal, the people that pushed the boundaries, the people that created these styles. And you learn the history of it. And if you can show that respect and that understanding, you can progress, right?
Right.
And so my mentor in my apprenticeship said to me, he's like, I want you to look at this girl and look at her work. Her name is Kelly Doty. And he's like, and she is killing it right now. And like, this is the level you need to be at to be someone in this industry. Right. Yeah. And so in my mind, Kelly Doty was this, and she's fascinating and amazing and brilliant. And so when I owned the Oddities parlor, we sold all kinds of weird shit, you know, and Kelly's so weird. So, you know, your vibe attracts your tribe, right? And so Kelly ordered something from us. And I remember her name came in and I was like, holy shit, she ordered something. And I remember I sent her package out and I wrote her a little note. Before I met her, before Ink Master, I wrote her a note and I was like, I'm a fan of you. I love your work. And I sent her this really ugly, weird flea market strawberry ring that was so tacky and gross, but I knew she'd love it almost, you know? And so, you know, when I saw her on that first day, it was this like wave for me where almost like a circle was complete. And I felt like even if I was the first one eliminated, I made it because I was standing next to the person that I had looked up to for so long. And it was humbling for me just to be there. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. I didn't think I was going to win. You know what I mean? And I think it was important for me to go in with that mentality, because when you go in humble like that, it's almost like detachment and acceptance, where no matter what the outcome is, you're grateful. And if you keep that mentality, then everything life presents to you is going to be a gift.
Yes. Right? Yes.
And so many moments during not only filming, but during that whole era, you know, so many moments were a gift, and I knew it at the time, and I treated it that way. Right. And so I think when you keep it calm and you keep it cool and you keep yourself level and grounded and you appreciate everything, you're able to keep your mind in the right place, because you're not concerned with the outcome or being the best or this or that. You're concerned with being true to yourself. Right. And I think that echoes through life, right? You know?
Exactly.
No, for sure. Yeah. It was a time, I sometimes like I'll think back on that era and I'm just like, I'll just get whiplash. Because for me, it was one that I mean, going there, you obviously go there with the intention to like, oh, I'm gonna do the best I can. I'm gonna try to make it as far as I can, whatever. But it was just like, the closer you got, the further you got. It's like, oh, I made it past this elimination. All right. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know if I should be here. The imposter syndrome starts to kick in. And it's just like, after a while, I'm not going to lie. Like, when it got down to like the last final few, I'm not going to, it was like, I feel like the producers did such a good job at like pitting everybody against each other. You know what I mean? It was times where like, I couldn't And y'all. I mean,
I remember the night. I remember the night because we all lived together. So that's the shit people don't see. And I know all the contestants are paranoid. Every year they're paranoid. There's cameras in the bathroom. There's cameras. There's no fucking cameras. There's never any fucking cameras. All right. That's first of all illegal. And secondly, we'd never use that shit. Right. But the shit that goes on, the shit that went on in that house. I remember one night waking up in the girls' room and hearing you arguing, Kevin threw a fucking chair. Kevin threw a chair.
Oh my God.
Kevin threw a chair.
No, it was like just being drunk with, that was with Eric.
With Eric and
me and Eric was just, beefing to the point where I'm like, I'm so drunk. I might must beef with you. You
were arguing about Bush.
Oh yeah,
President Bush.
Oh my God.
To the point where literally, I remember going and laying down in my bed, like I put my covers on, and he came and sat down next to my bed in the dark, and was just like, "Yeah, so what?" And I'm literally just in the bed, like laying down, like, "Fool, I must go to sleep."
Neither of you gave a shit about President Bush, but for some reason, you were throwing chairs over it.
I turned into Kanye
all of a sudden.
Oh my God. Throwing chairs is crazy.
But anyways,
my God.
But anyways, it was a time. Like I was looking through all those photos and was just like reimagining being there, and it was just like gave me a whole new appreciation for that experience, and it made me think about a lot of stuff that obviously we've all seen. I mean, I don't know everybody, but a lot of people have seen the season 8, which in my opinion is the best season in Ink Master history. But
no bias,
But what people don't know, myself included, is like when everything is done, when the confetti's coming down, the winner is Ryan Ashley. I mean, for me, I mean, I've heard stories about like how that night went for you, and obviously it was super bittersweet. If you want to touch on it, you can. But it was just like my mind automatically goes to like, what the fuck happened after Ink Master?
Yeah,
it's like at the time, I know that you were like when we were filming, I know you were engaged. And then when you won, it was just like you came to Dallas. I saw you that one last time, and it was cool. We got to connect on a level that we hadn't up until that point.
Yeah, we got trashed in Deep Ellum.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Karaoke bars, exactly. And the two of us. Yeah,
and it's like once the filming was done, I got to see you for you as like a human being, and I think that was like what I wanted from you today. I was just like, what? Like we hear about all the Ink Master and tattoo stuff. I was like, I want to know like, where have you been since 2016?
Yeah. It's funny standing up there because, as you just said, as the season progresses, it becomes more intense and more real, but you also develop such a bond with your competitors because you know that it's a once in a lifetime experience that no one else will ever understand except for the people in that room with you, right? And it bonds you and it connects you forever. Yeah. And so I'm standing up there with Gian and with Kelly, and it's like, I wish I could tell you that it was more gratifying. But at that point, I was so close to them and I loved them so much that there was a lot of survivor's guilt, to be honest, because
why should I have won?
Because not why should I have won, but it was almost like this whole experience meant so much to me and had moved me and changed my life so much that I already won. And if winning meant something more to someone that it meant to me, because I was already so fucking grateful and just to be there,
opportunity
that I wanted them to have it, And so, but what I talked about with, Deanna and Colton, and I've talked about it a little bit publicly is, I was on stage tattooing because we did a live tattoo for 7 hours. My fucking dog died while I was on stage. Right. And I knew it while I was on stage because at all the commercial breaks at that time, the finales were live. There's thousands of people in these, audience. And my, boyfriend at the time wasn't there. And when I knew he wasn't there, I knew something was wrong. Yeah. Right. So right when the camera's cut, the confetti's still coming down and everything. And I'm yelling at V, one of the producers. I'm like, get my boyfriend on the phone, get him on the phone. So I'm standing on the stage and they're like, okay, we're going to take all the photos. And I get my boyfriend on the line and he's sobbing and he's like, Casper's dead. And it was this, I realize now in hindsight, and it took me years to figure out why life could do that to me. It was the highest and the lowest moment of my entire life because this dog meant everything to me, right? And I realize now that it's because I could have won that night and gone out and gone partying and celebrated and be like, look at me, you know? And instead, life humbled my ass down. It brought me back home to my family. It made me realize there's no amount of money, there's no amount of success, there's no amount of glory, there's no amount of fame, anything that will ever mean more than the people and the things that you care about. It's love and it's family and it's humility. And in that moment, I realized the irony was to remind me that no matter what happens, keep your fucking head straight, right? These are the things that are important and these are the things that are not,
yes.
you know?
Yeah.
And it took me a long time to let that go. You know, I told you before, it was like 6 months before I even sent the paperwork in for the money or anything, because it felt like blood money. Like I felt like spiritually, like I took his soul somehow, you know,
like an exchange,
as an exchange. And I felt, because there was no amount of anything I would ever give to, you know, I would just want my dog back, you know? And, but I realize now that it's, of all the lessons that little dog taught me in my life, his exit was the greatest lesson of all. And it's don't lose yourself. Don't lose what's important to you. Don't lose what matters, you know? And so since then, I've tried to keep that as my main perspective, right? After Ink Master, I took advantage of everything. I did all the conventions. I traveled 8 or 9 months out of the year for years afterwards. And I think what I was chasing because of my imposter syndrome and my inferiority complex, you know, because I felt like these people are wrong. This can't be right. It can't be me.
Yeah.
I was doing convention after convention after convention, and I was competing and competing and competing, and not to feel like I'm the best, but I almost needed to be humbled. I needed to be beat almost. But I also didn't want anyone to be like, oh, she won because her tits are out, or she won because she's hot, or she's fucking Dave Navarro. I wasn't fucking Dave Navarro. That didn't happen. You know, it's not why. Like, fuck you. Like, and so at all the conventions, I was the first one to show up. I was the last one to leave, and I busted my fucking ass. And I wasn't trying to prove anything to anyone. I was trying to prove it to myself that I was worthy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That I was the person that all these other people wanted me to be, you know? But in that, I traveled the world. I met some of the most important, kind, amazing, influential people, other tattooers. And because of that and that opportunity, I now have friends all over the world that get me and they see me for the right reasons, not as a TV tattooer. I hate that term, but not as that. It's not a show. I really am dedicated and I care about this industry and I want to bust my ass next to you. I want to show up before you and have extra supplies if you need. I want to give the industry the respect that it's always deserved.
Right.
You know what I mean?
For someone to have that drive of, you know, so I have a sports background to where, you know, you're the first to show up and last one to leave. That not many people have that mentality. Is that something that you always had, or is that something you can obtain, or is that just in you, or it's not?
So I've been asking myself that question the last few years because I think the more you learn about yourself, the more you get to know yourself, the more you dive into why you tick the way you tick, why you are the way that you are, right? And I think the worthiness thing has always been a big factor to me, and I've always been trying to prove to myself that I've been worthy, you know, because where I came from, you know, my name was Ryan as a girl, Ryan Malarkey from the trailer park, right? Very appealing.
Yeah.
And I never felt like I was good enough. You know, I watched my mom bust her ass my mom, can I take a second to tell you guys? My mom had 2 girls by herself, single mom of 2 girls. My mom worked at McDonald's for 17 years. And then as a single mom with 2 girls, put herself through college, night school, made the dean's list, graduated top of her class, and did it all while juggling everything. And she did it to give us a better life. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so my entire life growing up, my mom used to say to me, like, Ryan, you will not make the same mistakes that I made. You won't. You will not stay in this small town forever. You won't.
Mm-hmm.
She's like, when you turn 18, you're fucking out of here. And if you think you're staying here, you're paying me rent. And if you're paying rent, I wouldn't be paying your mom rent. What do you do? And so in my mind, settling was never an option because it was ingrained in my subconscious that there's something bigger and better out there for me. Right. And it was never chasing money. It was never chasing, I mean, I never thought I would be on television. That was not a, you know, I didn't like, you know, dream of being a news anchor, you know, or anything that was, you know, I think what I've been chasing is how far the rabbit hole goes, you know? And now that I've come to peace with who I am in the industry and all of these things, now it's time I get to turn inward and actually get to know myself.
Okay.
Right? My actual self and all of those things, you know? So I've been asking myself that same thing too. Like, why do I do the shit that I do? Because what I found in the last few years is that this idea of what I should do and what other people are doing and what people expect me to do has led me to a lot of not failure, but lessons and disappointment in myself that even though Casper taught me the lesson, I got that shit twisted for a second, right? Like I put my studio and my career and blah, blah, blah above not only the people that I love and the things that made me happy, I put it over myself. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I'm struggling with that balance now of where do you lie? Where does Ryan lie on the list of priorities as opposed to like what everyone wants from me or needs from me? Because I want to nurture and I want to help and I want to provide and I want to, the same way that people like reached down to me and pulled me up, I want to pull people up. Right. Yeah. But you have to put your own oxygen mask on first. And the last few years have kicked my fucking ass. You know.
Yes. And that, and you know, like quite literally, this is another thing. It's funny because I've known you for a decade. And I feel like every time I talk to you, like I start to obviously learn more, but also to realize how fucking parallel our lives are without even knowing it.
Yeah.
And it makes me think about like, even when you're on Ink Master I'm gonna back up a little bit. Right. You win Ink Master. And I remember in that era, you were engaged, you were in a full relationship.
Oh, yeah.
Like you said, he was gone. You knowing him not being gone, like was an alarm in your head. At the same time, when you finish something like Ink Master or whatever TV show, when you step into this new version of yourself, a lot of times the people around, and I'm not saying this is the case, I don't know, but a lot of times the people around you, sometimes either they change or the change in you kind of shifts in your relationship. And then you have to realize, or you have to kind of think if you're now living for your relationship and this person, or am I going to like start living for myself and what I want? Like, explain to me, because again, I know there was a point where you were engaged and then somehow it flipped and it was somebody else. And I know it was like an era where you were traveling a lot. You were doing all the things that was just like that.
Are you asking me why me and Balls broke up?
Okay,
is that what you're getting to? Why did you just say?
I was literally just about to say that. I was like, ask about the engagement. Yeah,
okay,
exactly.
All right.
I'm glad you said it.
What the fuck happened to you and Josh Balls?
It was like just
sorry.
Well, first of all, I actually just saw Balls recently. He's one of the people in my life that believed in me before I did. And there's not a single feeling I could ever have for him other than gratitude and love and respect and all of those things. But the truth is he was such an important person to me. And I think at that time I realized that like I loved him so much that I knew I was never going to be able to love him the way he deserved to be loved back. Right. And I think that's the thing as I'm maturing, I'm realizing about relationships is there's nothing that's black and white. Everything is a shade of gray. And sometimes the moves that you make aren't forward or backward. They're, horizontal almost. Right. And just because I'm taking this step doesn't mean I don't care about you, value you, see you. You know what I mean? And I don't think anything has people cling on to these terms so tightly. What are you? What's the label? what are you calling yourselves? What do you, if you're breaking up, then you must not,
want somebody else.
Right.
Yeah.
And Balls and I went through, I mean, think about like, when I think about what we were able to do together, right? Like, we opened the Oddities parlor. We opened a second Oddities parlor. All of our interests were the same. We developed, I am who I am today, partially because of the influence he had on me. And I realize now that life and who you are as a person is a sculpture. And every person that influences you, changes you, affects you, it's like they're taking a chisel and chiseling out one little chunk out of the sculpture that eventually becomes you, right? And so, to this day, Balls and I are so cool. We DM each other memes about hot dogs a couple times a week. You know what I mean? And even if it's just that, I only have love and respect for him, but I'm realizing too that multiple things can be true at the same time. Right? Yeah. Like I knew when I realized that Balls he was one of the most important people still in my life, but I realized he wasn't the one for me. And I couldn't go on in a relationship knowing that. That's not fair because I think people are afraid to tell the truth and then they end up cheating. Fuck cheating.
Yeah.
So did you have these feelings before you won, or was it more so after? Because I'm thinking like, did the feelings of that or like guilt come in that you couldn't give him the love that he wanted because now that you won, the industry demanded so much of you?
So something I've realized that I don't think I've actually ever said was like Balls and I were together for a really long time and like 5 years, 6 years maybe, right? And we were each other's family. We both had, Balls has had a hard life, and my life wasn't hard, but it wasn't easy either, right? We both had to prove and struggle and chasing things, and then we started chasing those things together, right? And so the night before I left for Ink Master, the night before I left to go compete, we were standing on the porch, and Balls was like, "Will you marry me?" The night before, and in my head, I was thinking, motherfucker, we've been together for like 5 years. You're going to wait until the night before I leave. And it didn't feel good. It felt like he was taking something from me because I couldn't focus on the excitement and the joy of something that I got to do, that I earned for myself. I had to now balance being happy about getting engaged and being happy about this thing. Why couldn't I just have this moment? And I did. I held resentment from that moment. Yeah. Does that make sense?
I feel like a lasso. Like,
right. And he said to me, he's like, "What do you think? I'm going to let you go compete without a ring on your finger?" And I was like, "Motherfucker."
Well, maybe a different perspective from just the men's mindset is that I think since y'all had been together so long, maybe he knew that you were about to do amazing things. He probably thought you were going to win. He's like, when she wins, all eyes are going to be on her. I got to lock her down. Like I can't.
But I have to give Balls credit because there were so many years he was the only one that believed in me. He bought me my first iPad and I said, "I don't want that." And he's like, "This is the future. You need to use this because you're going to be amazing." You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And to this day, we still continue to support one another and everything and all of that. And I realize now there doesn't have to be bad blood or feelings. We're not, we're like, programs or society makes us think that you're supposed to feel negatively about someone when your relationship ends. And that's just not true.
Yeah.
I've never had a negative thought about that person. I know he's not the one for me, but that's not going to make me think anything negative about him.
Yeah.
That's life.
Yeah.
And life is complicated and it doesn't need a label or a definition or a reason textbook. You know what I mean? I think it's about carving your own path and being mature enough and open enough and loving enough to understand that it can be true that we're not meant for one another and be true that we care about one another and understand reality and not let feelings of what should be and we should be angry. That's just not true.
Gotcha.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
but the gratitude comes into where, in a way, y'all being together so long, he helped you become who you were.
Yeah.
And
100%.
I love that.
Yeah. But even now when I think about him and I, talk about him and everything, the way I feel about him is like, yo, that was my fucking homie. Mm-hmm. That was my ride or die. I don't think about him like, oh, my boyfriend.
Yeah.
He wasn't my boyfriend. He was my,
I love that.
He was my family,
Yeah.
And I never want to get that shit twisted.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It doesn't matter what you call someone, your boyfriend, your fiance, whatever. It's the way you feel about each other. And that's between just the two of you.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Okay.
But yeah,
Okay. So I promise there's a method to my madness because these are all things I think about eras of Ryan. This is what I've been consumed with for the last, since you agreed to doing it. It's just like thinking about the eras of Ryan because when I saw you on Ink Master, it was like this person who I got to know, like we lived together, you know what I mean? For months. That person I feel like evolved. I mean, it wasn't too long after you won, but I remember obviously like I went on, did my thing. You went on, did your thing. But there was, I'll never forget, there was a very definitive moment where I was like, this bitch is a rock star now. Like, I was like, she came back, she had the titties. She's wearing Arlo now. Arlo with the G-string, I was like, they're opening it, big ass shop up. They bought a church. Like, I'm like, it was like you guys got the spinoff, Ink Master, Ink Angels. Yeah. It was like
Angels was wild.
Angels was crazy. You guys are touring around the fucking country behind you guys,
it was
like
months at a time.
It was like that era to me. I feel like that's when you like turned it the fuck up. Like it was like you did what I feel like any Ink Master should do is like put your foot on their fucking necks. Exactly. And I feel like it was so unapologetic. And this is the only reason why I bring up Balls was because I feel like I've only known you to date 3 people as long as I've known you. Balls and then going into Arlo, you know what I mean? And I didn't know what that transition was like, but I just remember very, very vividly when I like was on Instagram, I was like, damn, like she's a fucking rock star.
So here's what I realized. And so many people say like, you can't find yourself in relationships. You have to know who you are and date around and blah, blah, and all that. And I found myself like, I'm not interested in dating. I'm not interested in sleeping around. I've actually never had a one-night stand, ever, right? Because I don't have fucking time. Because I don't have time. I got a little time. And I love that. And I wish, honestly, I look back, baby.
Just kidding.
Baby, I look back and I'm like, did I miss out on a hoe era? Did I miss out on my hoe era? I never had it. I skipped that chapter, right? And I've been questioning this recently too, just because, Arlo and I, that whole chapter has concluded. Obviously, we have the most beautiful child together. And no matter what happened between that, look at who we made. We created this cool human.
And he's cool as
shit. He's upstairs playing PlayStation right now. But what I realized, because I've been thinking about this a lot, is I think a lot of the time you learn so much about yourself because every other person is a mirror, right?
Yeah.
And if someone... And I've, most of my friends have dated and this and that. And I've always watched them evolve and develop because when someone confronts you with themselves, you learn more about who you are because you either agree or disagree. Right. Mm-hmm. For me, it's always been like, I've always internally deep down, I've always known who I am. Right. I've always known, and not in like this is who I am. But I've always known what's important to me, and I've always known what direction that I'm looking in, and I don't have time for side quests. So it's like my train's headed in this direction, and this is someone who's going in this direction too. You want to roll with me? You want to ride with me? Yeah. Because I want to make memories. I want to get deep. I want to see how far down this rabbit hole goes. I don't want to skip around on the surface. Yeah. You know what I mean? And so for me, I've always been in these long monogamous relationships. And that's been important to me, not because I need a partner or I need a man, but it's because I understand how incredible this life is. And I want to share important things with someone to continue on like a series, right? Like, I don't want to tune into a couple episodes here and there and not know what the fucking story is. I want to binge something with someone and create something impactful and grow together.
Exactly.
Right. And so I think even, you know, like meeting Arlo, it was like when I won't get into that, but Arlo was another one where I was like, when I met Arlo, I was like, you are the first person that has challenged me. You're the first person that's questioned, like, oh, you think you're that? Are you? And I've been like, wow. And I was like, wow, really? He can party as hard as I can. He's the first person I met that could party hard, because I was partying at that time, right? Yeah. I'm a mommy now, but during those years, you know, and he challenged me because he made me confident to know myself and then still push those boundaries. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, absolutely.
And so I think relationships have made me confront the deepest parts within myself. I saw a quote the other day that was like, the potential for you to grow is directly correlated to the amount of truth you can hear about yourself and the amount of truth you can accept about yourself and not break. Right. And Arlo pushed me. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And through it all, I'm not, you know, bitter or angry. I would take nothing back. I have no regrets. Yeah. None. Yeah. Because every single thing we went through, all that crazy, heavy, all that shit, it pushed me to evolve. And I've been telling people, it's almost like, you know, you're in the Boy Scouts and you want a Boy Scout badge. You don't just go in a bin and pick that shit out. You have to work for it. Right. Exactly. So what I've been working for, right, these hard lessons, these hardships, what you do is you come out of those with an evolution and an understanding and empathy for everyone that's gone through that shit. And I don't think people realize the reason people disagree, the reason that people argue, the reason people don't see eye to eye is because you have different experiences, right? Totally different experiences. Yeah. And so I don't think I would be who I am today if you know, my whole relationship with Arlo didn't force me to truly have to dive deep and figure out, wait a minute. So who the fuck actually am I? You know what I mean? And I'll forever be grateful for that. Yeah. Right. You know what I mean?
That's beautiful. I know I love just how deep you are. I wish Kevin was more like this.
Oh my God.
I love Kevin so much.
I've only had deep interactions with Kevin.
Bullshit. He is bullshit.
But I love that so much. So we have talked about the past, you know, just in becoming. So now, where are you now mentally? You know, I know you're balancing being a mother, and then your goals and everything. So where are you now? What is not necessarily the next move, but where are you mentally through this journey?
Yeah, because when you shaved your head and everything, what like where we at?
So shaving the head was a big one, and I am so fucking sick and tired. I'm gonna just go ahead and flat out say this. Yeah. I am so fucking sick and tired of everyone, from my pedicure lady to my uncles to people I meet on the street, to saying, "Oh, I wish you didn't cut your hair." And I'm like, bitch, if you knew me, if you cared about me, if you read between the lines, it was, first of all, never my hair. It was never my hair. Yeah. Right. And secondly, I think that to truly get to know yourself, really know yourself, you have to let it all go sometimes, right? I was sad. I was depressed. I was unhealthy. I was putting more and more extensions in my hair to uphold this image I felt like I had to uphold, and it wasn't making me happy. Every time I took my extensions out, I looked like fucking Golem in the mirror. It was so depressing, and I was over it. And I was over my friends being like, "Oh, it's not so bad." It was bad, and it made me feel like shit. Yeah. You know what I mean? And so shaving my head was this really humbling move I made, because it forced me to look in the mirror and learn how to love myself in a way that I feared the most. My biggest insecurity was my hair. And when you take that away, you no longer have that. You're focused to look on you're forced to look at all of the other areas of yourself, right? And so I also was reading about how in a lot of like native cultures, hair is so important because every piece of hair is like a tiny little fiber optic and it picks up on energy. You can feel other people's energy. They even say like, when you have your hair down and big and flowing, you're receptive because all of your antennas are open to giving and receiving energy, right? And so for me, cutting that hair off made me less receptive and it made me more internal. I was no longer sharing myself. I was no longer picking up on everyone else and concerning myself with that more than myself. I was focused on me and not like me in the mirror curling my hair for an hour and a half every day. I was focused on actual me, soul me, not the me like the image of, the Monster High doll that, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Everyone wanted me to be. And not saying that wasn't me. That was me.
Yeah.
But when that part of me took over and became such an identifying characteristic, I don't want to be known for my hair. I want to be known for my soul, for my choices, for my influence, for my voice.
Yeah.
And if you love me now. And if you don't, then you never love me.
Yeah.
Unfollow,
when I saw you, I think the first time I saw you in person with your shaved head, I feel like that was the first time I actually like saw you. Like I know you from just communicating, talking to you. You know what I mean?
Same though.
But I saw you. I was like, oh wow. And I don't mean like, I don't know how I'm trying to explain this, but it's just like you see the confidence. You see just like, oh shit. Because like I said, the first time I saw you, I'm like, oh, who is this person? You know what I mean? But it was just like you take all. It's like, oh no, I'm getting into everything else.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I remember the first few texts I sent after I shaved my head, to my closest friends. I remember one of the things I said was, I feel like my insides finally match my outsides. Where like, I'm done with the facade. I'm done with masking. It's exhausting. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm done with all of that. And since then, I can't tell you how much time I've had now to focus on more important things. Like I'm a mommy now. So instead of curling my hair for an hour and a half in the morning, I can color with my kid and be present and use that time for something that's like, I'm not going to be on my deathbed, years from now and be like, oh, how good was my hair?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And if I were doing that, I would be a shitty person. I missed it. I missed the point of it. I missed the point of it all. You know what I mean?
Was Ink Master mad at you for cutting it? Because you're a judge at this point.
I was so terrified of what Paramount would think, of what Andrea would think, of what I have never felt more supported.
Really? Okay.
From every angle.
Because they don't play about big changes.
They don't play by big changes, but I think I've been with Ink Master and the Andrea and with Paramount for long enough that they know me. They know me. And I know that, Ink Master it's a television show and all of that, but the core of it, now that I've been in it for long enough, it is a family. And there's so much heart and soul and dedication that goes into that production. People have been together on that show for 10 years, more than that. And they care about each other and they care about what they're creating, right? And so I got support from every single angle, more support than I thought that I would receive. And I've honestly never felt more empowered. And it made me realize that who was I afraid of? Was I afraid they were going to think differently of me? But that's me projecting that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. So as you know, we opened Formula just 3 months ago. This is his second shop. This is my first. And it has been a journey. It's only been 3 months and it has been a fucking journey. How has it been for you owning Elysium?
So it's been extremely bittersweet. And I've come to this consensus recently too. first of all, nothing lasts forever. Even, you go to visit your hometown and you feel weird because everything has changed and you realize it wasn't the place that you loved, it was the moment that you loved.
Yeah.
And so Elysium has brought me some of my most pivotal, some of my most impactful moments, right? And it didn't have anything to do with owning the shop. It had everything to do with the people that were within the walls.
Right.
And when the responsibility of owning a shop became the priority, I realized that I was doing it to keep the family together and my own family was suffering, if that makes sense. I think that just like Studio 54 and all these amazing moments, they're moments that happen, right? And you have to do your best to be present and realize the good days when you're in them. Does that make sense?
Oh, it makes all the sense.
What I've also realized is I am not a good business owner. I'm not good at being a boss.
Why do you
In what way?
Because I want everyone to be happy and I want everyone to have a good life. And I default to putting that above what actually makes me happy. You know what I'm saying? Yep. And I've always felt like I have so much to give and so much to offer and so much to contribute. It's too much for me. I want to share it with people, right? Yeah. And in owning the shop and running the shop, I put all of that above my needs and what I actually needed. You know what I mean? And so now I've been guesting at a few different shops. I've been traveling a lot. I've been working in Vegas and in LA. And I'm seeing people do shops really fucking well. And I'm realizing that not everyone is cut out for everything, right? And I think that there's something bigger and better for me. I see it. It's just not fully rendered yet, right? But I know that for me, at least, it's not owning a shop.
Okay. Yeah.
I think what I loved about owning a shop for me was providing a space where people can truly be themselves and connect with one another. Because in Colorado, I found my family.
Yeah.
Right. I found my group. I've never been closer to a group of people than I have been to the artists that work at Elysium, where not only do you vibe together, you support one another, you influence one another, you root each other on, you cheer for each other, right? And it became this safe place for everyone to come and just be and share. And it was, owning Elysium has been incredible. But I'm ready for the next thing. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And God bless you. And good luck to you. I hope you're better at it than I was. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's not that... I think I would have been a lot better of a business owner before. And I'm not saying parents can't do shit. Parents can do anything. But for me, the balance has been hard because it's been, I was a shop owner and a full-time tattooer and on television and a mommy. And that's the order it came in. And that's my regret. Do you understand?
Jesus, yeah.
And in reality, now I understand I'm a mommy. That is the most important job in the entire world. Moms don't get enough credit. And I don't want to stand on a soapbox, and preach what women have been preaching for fucking thousands of years, but it's true. You are creating the foundational memories. You're creating a personality and you're growing it. And you have to be your best self for them, right? And owning Elysium did not bring out the best in me. And I feel like all of the incredible moments I had with those artists, because when I think about Elysium, I think about the artists. I think about my family, right?
Yeah.
All of those incredible moments will never, ever again be touched or even close to be touched in my life. We were the Studio 54. We fucking hit it. We hit it big. We got it.
Yeah.
But now I'm going to be mommy because I feel like I missed out on a lot of that, to be honest. That's my big regret.
Yeah. No, I could absolutely see that. Just like I said, it's been 3 months and we actually just had our first shop meeting just, what was it, yesterday?
Yeah.
And like sitting in a circle with, and we got a big family and it's crazy because we've only been around each other for the last 90 days. And for me, I can totally say we're just like, for y'all who don't know, they're sitting right here behind us. But it made me realize it's just like, it's only been 90 days and in all seriousness, it's just like, it seems like it's been so much longer. And like you said, I love the fact that we're all new to each other, but everybody's open to each other. We're all learning from each other.
But I'm going to tell you something, and I'm going to tell you in front of your whole crew too. Everyone loves each other and appreciates each other. That's mutual. The love you share is real and you all feel it, and that's real, and that's what you take with you. The only person that's going to love your business like you love your business is you.
Facts.
Yeah.
And unless you're a part of it, it's never going to be a part of you in the same way that it is for everybody else, right? Yeah. And not in a way, not in any offensive way, because all of those incredible moments you share together, that's your shared reality. That's the bond that's going to connect you forever, and that's what's important, right? But what you're doing on your end is a type of love and dedication and devotion that no one else could ever understand. You know what I mean? And don't make the mistake of expecting people to love your baby like you love your baby. That's your baby.
Right.
And just being an owner in leadership is tough because just like you said, no one's going to love our baby like we love it. But in being a leader, you have to make decisions for the sake of the whole shop and the team that not a lot of people are going to understand. No one's going to understand. Decisions. And you have to stand on those decisions and be confident with it, even if that makes you look a certain way to the group. So that, and I have kids as well. So having to juggle all that, oh yes, I understand the weight. I know it's tough.
And you have to remember too, it's like, there, in my opinion, this is just my opinion, there has to be some sort of, and this is the mistake that I made. I had no boundaries and there was no division, because if we work together, we work together. You're not working for me. We're working together. Right? I just so happen to be the one in this position. And then slowly I started realizing, well, I want to be in that position.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because I don't want to be the boss lady. I don't want to come down on my friends. I don't want to have to tell someone that they were late or that their tattoo sucked or anything. I don't want to I don't.
Yeah. That's fair.
I think
it's
that's
not for me.
Yeah. I think that's part of being like, it's tough, but you have to be, in order to get a certain level of productivity and have the team staying on track, being a villain is part of being an owner sometimes.
And you have to remember too, everyone is on the train together. Y'all are all on the train together. You're learning together, progressing together. But as an artist, you're focused on doing the best art you can do. As a business owner, you're focused on your business. Your artists aren't concerned with, and this is just me saying, your artists aren't concerned with the business aspect of the business. Do they love the shop? Yes. Exactly. Are they loyal? Yes. Are they devoted? Yes. But when it comes down to a sewer pipe breaking and you have to wake up at 4:00 in the morning and be the one there canceling your appointment to deal with it, it sucks. And the same way you resent your parents for having to do the hard shit, you resent your parents sometimes, right? And then you become a parent and you realize the process and you realize why you had to do the shit you had to do. Right. Yeah. And so I think when you own a shop, you understand the weight of it. It's not coming to work in a beautiful environment and all of that all the time. There's a lot of dirty, gritty, hard stuff that you have to deal with. And unfortunately, you're going to deal with it alone, right? Exactly. Even with support.
And I was going to say, so for me, a major part of owning this shop has been my partnership with Jeff, right? Like I always have a strong opinion about everything, but he's always come and kind of given clarity about things that I thought I felt strongly about, but it just comes from lack of knowledge. You know what I mean? With you, because it was you and Arlo that.
Well, Arlo had Elysium started before I got there. Okay. But it was in a different building. It was a, you know, Pokemon have evolutions. It was a really amazing thing he had started. The church was another animal.
Gotcha.
And the problem with me and Arlo is it's not that we couldn't tackle it. It's that we were kicking life's ass so hard. We felt like we could tackle all of it and get pregnant during COVID and get married because I was pregnant and terrified and own a shop and be good at it.
Yeah.
Anyone can own a shop. Are you going to be good at it?
Yeah.
And you can't, as business owners, my advice, because I did so good, my advice is Don't ever take it personally if artists that you love eventually leave to branch out and fulfill their dream, because theirs might be the same as yours. Don't be offended. Everyone wants the best for each other, obviously, but you want the best for yourself as well, right? Not in a selfish way. We all have the same dream. We're all artists. Who doesn't eventually want to own their own studio?
Right.
And you can't take that shit personally. You have to detach and want the best for them as well. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I always see it like a badge of honor. Like, I'm not gonna lie, every time an artist does leave, it there's a little sting to it. It doesn't it doesn't feel the best, but I mean, I feel like that's just, it's natural. But I always have to remember, it's like, I've had artists who have left and now they have their own studio, and I'm like, and they blew up. Most of their most viral stuff happened at my shop, my first shop, and I'm like, wow, like in a way, I helped catapult them to their next level. And it's like, and that kind of changes their kids' bloodline and their kids' bloodline. So it feels great.
Exactly. And that's the feeling you have to have. Instead of the sting or any of that, if that happens, you have, instead of saying like, wow, I was a part of it, you have to say, I got to be a part of their evolution. And not that you have to be happy for them, but when you come to peace with everything and you understand the circle and the cycle, you will be happy for them, because you should want the best for everyone.
Exactly.
Business owners that own businesses to make money, for quick grabs, to hold people like hostages, that's not the right reason to own a business.
Right.
I promise you. The best part about a tattoo shop is the energy, the vibe, the artists, the love that's being put in, the dedication that's being put in. Appreciate that. And you have to always wish everybody the best. And don't take that shit to heart. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You can't.
And I'll say for me, because I never wanted to shop for a very long time. Just for like the last few years, was that ever even a thought in my head? But I think for me, for as long as I've tattooed, things start to change. And for me, it was like, you want to equip the next generation of tattooers by example. You know what I mean? In the way that I feel like the people who came before me equipped me, you know, in this moment, you know. So for me, like you said, I try to take ego out of it, knowing that when you hire someone, like you said, nothing lasts forever. When you hire someone, you have to know that at some point it's gonna end. You know what I mean?
To know.
And so it's just like, I think just preparing yourself for that, knowing that's always going to be the end game. Just knowing that for me, the satisfaction of knowing that my goal is always to make sure that you leave better than you came.
You should always leave people better than you found them. Always. And something you have to remember too is artists coming into your shop are inspired by you, and that's why they want to come work for you, right? Or the energy or the crew or whatever. And they're inspired by you as an artist, you as a business owner. But the story doesn't end there, right? The story continues. So you have to allow yourself to be inspirational when that moment comes, when they do leave. How do you handle that? You should handle it with grace. You should handle it with support, with compassion, with understanding, because, you know, it doesn't just end when someone comes. There's a whole nother chapter, a whole nother book after that. You know what I mean? So handle yourself with grace. Always be grateful. Always. Yeah. Always. You know what I mean?
And with, you know, y'all saying nothing lasts forever, I've experienced this so many, you know, we've almost been open for 3 years now. And what it has taught me is that when an artist had left in the first 2 years, when things were good and we had these most amazing memories, we would be traveling to Colorado together, doing events, it's now made me be a lot more present in the moment of being like, I'm enjoying this so much. I appreciate your time. I value this space. It's not going to always be here. You're going to have to fly and spread your wings and go off. But this moment right here, I cherish it so much. I'm not taking it for granted. So it's tough. Ownership is a whole nother beast, but to even be given this opportunity is a blessing in itself.
Absolutely. I think too, like and maybe this is just, well, let's see if I'm talking shit or not, who agrees with me, but successful businesses, right? What are you trying to do? Are you trying to have a collective? Are you trying to have an experience, or are you trying to have a business? Because if you're trying to have a business, the point of a business It's business. It's to make money. It's to get people through the door. I was a bad business owner because that was never important to me.
Okay.
And what, you know what I mean? And so you have to understand as a business owner, what your prerogative is. What is your intention?
Yeah.
Right? Because our intention as business owners at Elysium was to keep the most incredible group of people we've ever found together. And because of that, a lot of aspects of the business failed because we weren't concerned with making money. But then a business can't be a business.
Right.
And so everyone has to mutually understand that at the same time. Right. The problem Arlo and I had was basically we just wanted to make enough money so that we could keep it floating and so everyone could be together. Right. And then when shit hit the fan and our $50,000 floor remodel turned into a $350,000 renovation, who's paying for that? Yeah. It's me.
Exactly.
And it's Arlo. We're not making our artists pay for that, obviously. Right. And then we kicked ourselves in the ass because we're like, oh, that's why you charge more money, because when those things happen, it's coming out of your pocket, and that's not fair to you either.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And
I completely agree. And I have at both shops, like our formula is new, but at Skylight, I have so many close relationships with our artists. And I've had to tell them countless times, like, it's tough having to make a business decision because I know in a way with how close we are, they might take it personal, but I've had to tell them, I'm like, look, you have to separate business and friendship. And our friendship, I wish it paid the bills, but it doesn't pay this 2.7 annual increase on rent.
Exactly.
So,
okay. So this segment, we're doing segments now.
Oh.
So this segment, watching certain things and hearing podcasts, and honestly, even me being on podcasts, I'm like, y'all don't ask me the real questions. Like, give me some like fun questions. So we call this segment "Cut the Shit." Okay.
Ooh, yes.
So cut the shit. So there's just a couple questions that we were like, just things that popped up that have nothing to do with, like, obviously all the personal stuff we talked about, but just cool questions I think people would be interested in knowing. I know I am.
You've got the sugar, now you want the spice.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. It's gonna get a little spicy. So, my first thing I want to know. So you had posted on your story not too long ago. You said men make money so they can get closer to women.
Absolutely.
And women make money so they can get further away from men.
Absolutely. Did you know that women couldn't get a mortgage or a credit card until the 1970s?
Oh my God.
So what other option did they have? So whenever I hear, you should have left him, well, where the fuck were you going to go with 5 kids? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so I think what's happening, I can't wait for this topic. All right, here we go. I think what's happening.
I knew it.
So I think what's happening now is, and I saw a video on Instagram of this woman saying that, like, girls are raised from birth to be good daughters, good sisters, eventually good partners, good wives, good mothers, all of that shit. But it's all good for other people. Whereas, and I'm not talking about everyone, I'm talking about the main bulk of societal expectations on males and females, right? Men are raised to be good men, like good for themselves, right? Do the best that you can, you know what I mean, to be able to provide, blah, blah, blah. And I feel like the world is changing now, right? And I feel like finally, men are being raised to understand that being a good partner means being empathetic, right? Being actually a good partner. Yeah. And I think this balance is shifting. But what I think men aren't realizing is that as those roles change, they're being raised to be understanding. They're being raised to know that a lot of shit is equal and 50-50 and all of that, but they aren't being raised to understand how to be with a strong woman, right? Mm-hmm. And so when I posted that, I was like, it's fucking true, because every conversation I've ever, not every conversation I've ever had, but it's a big conversation, whereas like men have always had a limitless amount of opportunities to be the best they could possibly be, and women haven't. And I've been going on this for the first time in my life. I can finally say I'm beginning to scrape the surface of understanding what feminism actually is. And I've always had a hard time with that term. And because I've been deemed by others as a representation of women, as a representation of female strength, and thus a representation of feminism. And I was labeled that before I understood what feminism actually was, right?
And what is it?
Well, the reason I've had a hard time with it is because everyone has treated me equally. I've had men treat me shitty. I've had women treat me shitty. Mm-hmm. I've had men treat me amazing and help me. And I've had women do the same. So to me, a cool person's a cool person. An asshole's an asshole, right? But what I'm learning now is this systemic, historic suppression of women and female voices. From the creator of Monopoly was a woman, and it was taken and rebranded and patented by a man. So many things throughout history, women have been silenced. Women have been plagiarized. Women's voices have been taken away so that it became normal. I mean, think about this. We couldn't get a fucking credit card or a mortgage until the 70s. What were we supposed to do? What were we supposed to do?
Yeah.
Right? Exactly. And so we've had no option. We've had no other option. And so now, the way my mom raised me, because, you know, my mom had two of us alone, right? And it's not that my dad, my biological dad is dead now, but at the time he wasn't dead. He chose to not be there, right? And so my mom, I'm sure, would have loved to be taken care of and nurtured and loved and all of that, but it wasn't an option for her. So she had to figure it out, right? And she raised us, instilling that fear in us that if shit hits the fan, when shit hits the fan, what are you going to have as your foundation under you to make sure that you're good, right? Something to fall back on. Yep. Men have never had to think about that before, ever, right?
Very sure.
And so at the same time as I'm learning now, I'm discovering this history that's true, that's been hidden and buried all the way back to biblical times. Like, who's read the Gospel of Mary? Who's read the Gospel of Mary?
I haven't.
It existed and it was fucking suppressed. Fuck that.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. No, I feel it.
And so for me, feminism always felt like a wrong label because I've never experienced any sort of. I've experienced a lot of abuse. I mean, try tattooing 15 years ago as a chick. You know what I mean? Try getting an apprenticeship. What do you have to do? You have to endure. And I'm so glad that I did because I was prepared for it, right? And it gave me thick fucking skin.
Yeah.
Right? But I had no idea until I took the time to actually dive in and research how many times women have been behind some of the greatest discoveries, some of the greatest inventions, some of the greatest medical and scientific revelations and revolutions, and we've been plagiarized, right? And so I'm not angry, but I do believe that in order for humanity to succeed, you need to understand the yin yang balance of it all. There is no light without dark. There is no chaos without order, and the masculine, feminine, the divine masculine and the divine feminine are this perfect yin yang of harmony that needs to work together and understand one another, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
To fully reach our best potential, because if one side is continuously suppressing the other side and holding it down, we will never succeed as a society, as a species. Right. It'll never happen.
Yeah.
Right? I also think that, and maybe this is just my opinion, I keep saying that because I don't want to offend everyone. Everyone's so fucking offended these days. Everyone's so offended by everything. These are thoughts. These are thoughts. And right. But the truth is, and I'm not speaking for all, but I'm saying I think men these days are having a hard time understanding what their role is supposed to be at the same time. Right?
Yeah.
Because what was considered masculine, you know what I mean? A lot of the times is now considered, too harsh or too unempathetic or too abusive or too toxic, right? And so I think men are having a hard time trying to figure out what their role is in all of this then. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because when it comes down to it, a lot of women, not all, a lot of women still in their minds, you want a man to be a man. But what does that mean? You want a man to be a man. What does that mean? What's a man to you?
And to me, it's always been like real contradicting, because on one end, I'll hear women say like they'll condemn the man that's like soft or like doing things that, you know, men don't do. You know what I mean? Like I feel like men, it's like you project the things that you have been taught forever about like what a man is supposed to show up as. You know what I mean? Like even for me, it's like I'll have like a lot of like, let's say straight friends, right? Who will find comfort in being around me, straight male friends who will find comfort in being around me because I allow them to just be yourself. I don't give a fuck. Like, you're not going to get judged here. I'm not going to like shun you for like, you know, I don't know. You know what I mean? But you know what I'm saying? It's just like, when you go out into the world and you feel like you have to put on this face, you know, and you put on the face and then it's like, do people want it or don't they? You know, because I feel like on one end you talk about toxic masculinity, but then when people take that away, it's like, oh, you're not a real man.
What does that mean, a real man?
It's a lose-lose though. I feel like, you know, you can show that softness, that vulnerability, that empathetic side, but then it's like, if you're being that, men are so confused because it's like, you could be drinking strawberry lemonade and they're like, oh, as a grown man, you just...
but that's
I was just making an example. It's like, as a grown man, you drinking strawberry lemonade. So it's like, men, we can't find our way of how to move. But just to play devil's advocate just a little bit, you know, just because
I
would like, you know, to see, you know, when you say women like to make money to get further away from men, are you talking more so like the dependency part?
Do you know what the number one cause of death is for women?
Before I took like 2 of these, I definitely...
It's men. It's men.
Oh, wow. Okay. So safety reasons. Gotcha.
But I understand why y'all are confused, because I think everyone is confused, right? And I will say something that may be controversial, perfect for your segment. When I had Atheus, right? When Arlo and I had the baby, we noticed something interesting happening, right? And it's something that was biological, because I feel like human beings, we're animals, but we're different than animals in a sense where we're conscious, right? And so half of us is spiritual consciousness and half of us is biology, right? In whatever way that means. It's different for everyone, obviously. Right. I feel like everyone is a spectrum of these things. Everyone is. Yeah. When we had the baby and the baby would cry, right? Cry, the infant cry. My first instinct, and I'm not like what I'm supposed to do. My instinct, my soul is to nurture, to feed. What can I do? How can I help? Right? That's what came out of me, right? Arlo was the opposite. His cortisol would rise and he would go into territorial mode because he like instinctually felt like he had to protect. So my intuition was to nurture and his intuition was to protect, right? And that's not what we thought society wanted from us. That's what came out of us, out of our biology, right? Yeah. And so do I think that roles, men and women, are absolutely black and white? No, because I think that especially nowadays where people are open enough and supportive enough and understanding enough to know that gender roles and gender terms and all of that, it's fluid. It is, right? It depends on the energy that's inside of you, right? And I'm always someone that's like, no violence, ever. What are we, fucking primates? Yeah. We're evolved. All of us were evolved. No violence, no war, none of that shit, right? No more of that. Atheus, my baby's not allowed to kill bugs in our house because I don't want him to have the core belief that his life matters more than any other life. That is not true. I'm sorry. And if you kill something, if you're going to kill something, you better fucking need to eat it or feed your family. You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't kill something to feel better about yourself as a trophy. That's not what life is. Right. And so I was in a conversation about this the other day about how, you know, I'm like, violence is not the answer. War is not the answer, all this shit. And someone said to me, okay, well, what happens if a bombs go off tomorrow, shit hits the fan, you go to nurture your son. Aren't you going to want strong men who are capable, who are brave to fucking protect? Who are you going to look to?
Yeah.
And the truth is, in my mind, I thought, I want a big, strong dude. Mm-hmm. That's what I thought. Mm-hmm. So what is the answer? It is black and white. And so when you ask me questions like that, I think it's an amazing topic that we should be discussing. Everyone should, because I don't know.
Yeah.
I think when I posted that, that is the truth.
Yeah.
Right? That is the truth. Mm-hmm. But there's lots of other things that are true at the same time.
Right.
Like
there's
what
layers.
I just told you, there's layers. Mm-hmm. Right?
It's so crazy that you just said that, because that was my follow-up. That was the reason why I asked this, because I say that it's just my perspective. I say it's from a point of luxury that we can have. It's like, that may be a statistic, the statistic, but that's from a place of like luxury, because we have created a sense of safety over here from violence in some sort. So what if an EMP was to drop right now? All electricity is out. We're back in the dark ages, and now it's every man for himself. I wonder if, and it's just like a curiosity, I wonder if the same perspective of we want to make money to get further away from men, I wonder if that was to change, because now we're back in our instinct of, I need to get with someone so I can be protected. So I just wonder if it is from
protection, but I think protection is fluid as well, because in this world, protection is different than it used to be. In this world, if you need to, in this world, you have to survive, obviously, right? So to survive, you need to be able to pay your bills. You need to be able to pay for your fucking health insurance. Mm-hmm. Like you need to be able to do that shit. And in the past, women did not have, it's not that they didn't have the opportunity or the capability or the intelligence or any of that. We weren't allowed to exercise that shit. Mm-hmm. And now we have to, because shit does hit the fan. Yeah. But in cases like you're saying, I think women are capable of everything. I think men are capable of everything. I think what we need to do is we need to understand each other. And I think everyone is a shade of gray in a sense, where what I can contribute and what each of the other women in the room contribute, that's all going to be different. We all contribute different shit. And so do men. I think what we need to do is we need to start not thinking that everyone is created exactly the same, because that's not true either. But we are all worthy, and we all do have our place and our importance. And once we start appreciating and understanding the differences in one another and how everyone ticks, and we all can have an appreciation for the different roles that we can play, that's where harmony and peace is going to come.
The yin and the yang.
Right? The yin and the yang is the most important. Yeah. Right? Yeah.
The same way that, you hear the baby crying in the middle of the night, and that instinct of like nurture, do you think that, with this ideology, if something was a catastrophe was going to happen, do you think that same instinct of, okay, I don't necessarily have the survival instinct, it's more nurture, are you reverting back to like, okay, I just need to be protected because I don't know what can happen. Now I know it's more so about strength.
For me, and I can't speak for everyone, I can't speak for all women, but for me, it's like, do I question my ability intellectually? No. Mm-hmm. But if I was going to fist fight one of these big dudes in the room, who would win? Mm-hmm. A big dude. Yeah. And that's not me not believing in myself.
Yeah.
You have 60 pounds on me and it's all muscle. You know what I mean? What am I going to do? Scratch you with my fucking nail? And that's not demeaning myself.
Yeah.
But my interests and everything have been different. And so I'm not saying there's no, like, I also don't believe the opposite side of the spectrum. Like, I'm not like a feminist to the sense where I'm like, we don't need men. You know what I mean? Yeah, I'm not that way either. I love men. Yeah. I wish I didn't. I'd be a lot healthier. I'd be a lot healthier and happier. What I'm saying is, no matter if you're a man or a woman or whatever, you need to have some fucking empathy.
Exactly.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Yeah.
And like what men needs to realize is that, like, men have always, not all men, but a lot of men through history have glorified women like trophies.
Yeah.
When have women done that to men and taken their own prerogative over knowingly hurting someone?
Yeah.
Knowingly going into it being like, if she finds out, I'm out of here. If someone's going to be that hurt by an action, don't make the fucking action. Don't do it.
Yeah.
And you know what I think the job of a man is? If you're a real fucking man in the sense that you want to be, it is to protect. It's to protect all of the people that you love. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Sometimes there is like backlash though from wanting that. I think so being a leader, being an owner of a shop, I feel like when you actively give help that people don't ask for, that's when you get the most friction and pushback. It's only when they ask for it that it's most appreciated. That's why they say, the game is to be sold, not told. Only stuff that you purchase and you actively invest in that is more so appreciated. So sometimes I feel like as a man, if you do offer that help, it's immediately taken like, oh, you think that I need this? So it's kind of hard to find.
But you got to stop taking people's responses personally. That's them. Everyone just projects their inner feeling. You know what I'm saying? And all you can do is be the best person to your capability. But what do you deem a good person? And that's what I'm saying is, if everyone acted on their actual morals, life would be a lot different. You know what I'm saying?
Right, yeah.
Like, because I think a lot of men fucking high five and glorify. I just found out yesterday somebody that I know fucking cheated on their wife, and it makes me think of them. It does. Because if their wife knew, she'd be fucking heartbroken, and he knows it too, and he still fucking did it. You know what I mean?
And that like, goes into when you say your job is to protect, even if I'm protecting you from even potentially
emotional.
Me. Yeah,
but like it's also emotional. Protect against evil, and everyone should protect one another. It's not just men protecting women. We're not helpless.
Yeah.
No one's helpless. Yeah. Everyone has a different role to play in terms of protection, but also everyone has a different role to play in terms of empathy, feeling for the other person, understanding that what you do affects other people.
Right.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And I swear to God, it's bringing me to my next cut the shit question.
Hold on. Before that though. I love this topic. I feel like Ryan loves this topic too.
I love it because you know why? Because people are so afraid to talk about anything these days. We're afraid to talk about politics. We're afraid to talk about norms. We're afraid to talk about society. We're afraid to talk about gender. We're afraid. And you know what people do when they're afraid? They cling to the identity that they feel most comfortable with. And they're not comfortable.
Or the most popular.
Because they want to feel accepted. They want to feel like they're a part of something. And people want to belong. And if all that you can belong to is the identity that you've clung to, then that's who you are. And people are afraid to say, yo, you know what? I was wrong about that. You know what I'm saying?
Cut the shit. Is that a winner mindset or a loser mindset?
What?
Just clinging to wanting to feel like to be along and not go against the grain and standing on exactly your perspective and your ideology.
It depends on what it is. I think that's all a shade of gray. Do you actually you need to live your life to the most true belief system that you believe. Everyone in this room, all of our realities are different. No one shares the same reality. You know what I'm saying? People cling on to realities they don't actually believe in, and it's an old identity of theirs. People cling on to a version of themselves that they've outgrown years ago because it's comfortable and it's secure and it's who they think they need to be.
And I think in our generation specifically, I don't think people question what they believe often enough. You know what I mean? Because you may grow up thinking you believe something, but you've been taught to believe that.
Exactly.
And it's like, who taught you and why did they teach you that?
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
And I know this because in motherhood, there's so many times my son will do something and I react. And then I realize in the moment I'm saying exactly what my mom said, exactly how she said it, exactly for the reason. And then I have to stop and question, do I actually believe this, or am I regurgitating something that I have been subconsciously taught? Do you know what I'm saying? And so I think people need to live their true realities. And I think people need to have conversations like this, because I'm not coming in telling you this is how it is. I'm coming in being like, here's where I'm at. Where are you at? And I need to see you and you need to see me. And if people are too afraid to have these conversations, progress is never going to happen. And people are afraid to have them because they're afraid of being challenged. They're afraid of their comfortable identity being questioned. They're afraid of being wrong.
Or having to change.
Yeah. And where is progress without change?
Yeah. This is why we got Ryan on this episode. This is what we wanted. This
you want to talk politics next?
Yeah, no, this is why we have this segment, Cut This Shit. And before we get to the next question, I do want to say, like, I think that's the beauty of being a parent, is that when you do see those moments, you have a chance now to, it's like when I look at my son, it's just like seeing what I went through as a kid. It's like I get a chance now to like heal a part of me. And when I see him, I see me.
God, 100%.
You know?
But when are we overcorrecting?
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
Do you find yourself overcorrecting a lot of the time?
Absolutely. I try to still give him grace now and give myself grace in it. But just seeing him, I'm just like, I see me, and it's just like I get a do over not only raising him, but healing me. So it's. So here's another thing I'm going to bring up. I have a spicy topic for you. Can I switch it for a second? Yeah. Cut the shit.
So a few years ago, I was invited to come be a part of a convention that was an all-women convention. And I said no, because I don't think that fighting suppression with suppression is the answer either. Does that make sense? I don't believe women shouldn't support each other. I fucking love women. I think we're amazing, but I love men too, dude. And when you cut one out, you're fighting anger. And my mom used to always say, an eye for an eye leaves the whole world blind. And it's true. You don't strive for equality when you flip it and you say, well, I wasn't invited to your party, so now you're not invited to my party. And I also think that's not a way of evolution, because when you completely eliminate adversity, you eliminate your capability of coping with the real fucking world, because not everyone is going to be able to evolve as you evolve.
Right. Yeah.
So that's why you need to surround yourself with people, not just that are on your same Facebook fucking scroll algorithm. Everyone that follows the same algorithm is going to have the same ideas. You need to surround yourself with people that do think differently than you and feel differently than you, so you can learn from one another. Because if you only surround yourself by people that think exactly the same way as you, you are never going to progress, ever.
Right,
exactly.
So these hard fucking conversations need to be had, but without anger and without taking it personally. You need to come into these being like, this is how I feel. How do you feel? And why? Yeah. And if you're going to tell me that you strongly believe in something, I accept that, but you need to be able to tell me why. Yeah. Why do you believe that?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So if you ask me, why did you say what you said? This is why.
Yeah. I love it. I think that's amazing. And I'm sure other people, when they saw that, they probably felt the same way. But as soon as I saw, I was like, this is going in Cut the Shit. This is going in our segment.
This is another thing too. Just because I post shit like that doesn't mean I don't find a place for men. I have a son who I love more than anything in the world. Do you know what I mean? Some of the people that have lifted me up and held me have been men. But I think that those men that are strong enough to know themselves can also accept the truth of what has historically happened with women, right? You don't have to, I'm a man, so I'm just going to put that. Multiple things can be true at the same time. And I think acceptance of a consensus of reality will only allow you to further empathize with one another and see one another. And it's only then in that harmony and that unity and that love. It's love. It's love and it's gratitude. It's not hate.
Right.
But I think to understand that love, you can never understand what it's like owning a shop until you own a shop.
Right.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
And so a lot of people think, I had my own opinions on feminism. I thought women that were super feminist were angry and hateful and all this shit. And some of them are, for sure, for just reasons, right? But the truth is people feel the way they feel because they don't have all the information. Yeah. What's the information? What is it? Let's talk about it together. You know what I mean?
Or the agenda. I don't want to go. Yeah, I'm
I don't want to go there. I don't want to go agenda.
I don't want to go that route. I don't want to go that route. I would
You should see my algorithm right now. We should open each other's Instagram algorithms.
I was about to open up right there. I was just gonna say, it's just like, okay, let's not go.
Do you want to see what's on mine?
Maybe. Yeah, we'll come back. We'll do another episode. Because I feel like we could go forever on this topic, and
for sure.
I love it. I love conversations like this. What you got?
Okay. No, I love the conversation too. I love the topic. And honestly, when he first said that he wanted to talk about that, it was like a meme or whatever. You mean I was like, duh, like yeah,
duh. Why do you think I post it? Because I want to keep it secret.
Exactly. But I could tell that he thought differently about it. So it was just like, oh, maybe if you have, because it was duh to me, but maybe there is another perspective that needs to be explored. So
it wasn't that I disagreed.
No, I don't think
I wasn't saying I disagree. I was just saying I feel like sometimes we make our perspectives because there is violence over here, there is harm that happens, but compared to other countries, it is peaceful here, and to a certain extent,
it was as of a few weeks ago.
Well, I'm just saying, as a yeah, you're right. As a whole, so I'm just saying, it's like we're in a
and I'm not discrediting that either. But you know what? I'm tired of hearing. We can't complain. They have it worse.
Well,
they have it better.
I wasn't saying that. I'm just saying, like,
just because women aren't being beaten in the streets doesn't mean we should take what we've been given without any question.
Right.
Absolutely. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Or even accepted it at all, for real. Yeah. You know what I mean?
And to me, like, everything recently has become, no one wants to talk politics and all of this shit, right? But for me, I'm not a politician. I'm not into politics. But you know what I am into? Humanity. Mm-hmm. Humanity. Basic human decency. And we're fucking losing it, guys. Mm-hmm. We're losing it hard. Mm-hmm. Hard. Yeah. Love one another. Accept one another. I don't give a fuck who you fuck. I don't give a fuck where you're from. I don't give a fuck what color. Are you a good person or are you a fucking asshole? That's what I care about. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And that's not saying we shouldn't all understand each other and why we are the way we are, where we come from, what struggles we've gone through. All of that is part of the beautiful journey that makes us who we are. If everyone was exactly the same, it'd be fucking Groundhog Day. How boring would life be?
Right. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But it's a unity in a sense of appreciating the differences, appreciating the different roles that we have to play. You know what I mean? Yeah. Some bros want to be fucking bros. And guess what? Some chicks love that. And they should find one another. And I hope they do.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But if shit hits the fan, that chick that loved the bro should be able to get a fucking credit card. Yeah. You know? And we're past that. But like, you know.
Yeah. We definitely made improvements and progressed. And we'll revisit this. I love.
Yeah.
I love this so much.
And it's funny because I'm like, I mean, honestly, they go hand in hand. This first question and the second question, because I feel like you're very self-aware, and I feel like I don't think people realize how. Even meeting you, like when they first meet you, I don't think people realize how self-aware you are. And so my question to you is just like, from a male perspective, what kind of man does it take? Or a woman, I don't know if that's on the docket, to bag a Ryan Ashley. Like, what kind of man would it take to come to approach you? You know what I mean? Like,
I would be so relieved if I fell in love with a woman. Oh my God, please. Please.
Bring her out.
Bring her out. I'm ready. Come at me, baby. Right? Yeah. It just hasn't happened. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Is that what you're looking for? Is
a woman?
Yeah. I mean, it's like you said. Why are you saying like
in terms of
I'm like, wait, what?
I'm like talking. I'm like
maybe. No, what I'm looking for someone to see me, actual me, all of me.
Yeah.
With empathy and without judgment and all of those things. Unfortunately, well, I can't say that. Unfortunately, when it comes to sexuality, I'm like into dudes, right? But I don't know. Actually, that is a shade of gray. That is a shade of gray, actually. Oh, chicks are women are beautiful.
Yeah, okay.
But I will say that, like, I don't want to go too deep into this, and I will not expand. But I have met someone recently that has redefined my previous definition of what a man is.
I'm interested in that. Like, okay, without, going too long, what's a key word that you can use that separates?
Healed.
What was it?
Healed.
Okay.
Healed.
Got you.
Going through all of the shit that we all go through and choosing to see things differently in the end and not cling to that old identity that they've been brought into thinking was absolutely black and white. I'm looking for someone that's open to growth.
Yeah.
That's empathetic, that understands just because you don't feel that way doesn't mean my feelings are invalid. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Someone that puts my feelings at such an importance that it's equal to their feelings, even if we don't feel the same way. Do you know what I'm saying?
It's so wild. Like, I'm just so intrigued. I love hearing you talk. When you talk, you said empathy so much throughout this this
I
episode.
also love big strong dudes.
you
I wish I didn't. I do though.
You
protect me, daddy.
Clip it.
And if you can't, I'm good too, though. You know what I'm saying?
Clip it. So you said empathy and empathetic a lot. Damn, that lost my train of thought just now. Okay, so hold on. So you said empathetic and empathy a lot. So with that, what do you think a man is lacking? Like, what are they not giving you that feels like they don't feel where you're coming from? Because with empathy,
men in general, or in my previous experiences?
Just men in general, or your previous experiences. Like, what is
Well, it's hard for me because, like I said, I've never entered really the dating pool. Like, everyone that I've ever been romantically involved with has been someone that I've deeply devoted myself to all of the way. I'm not a surface level person. I'm not. Depth over everything. I don't have time for that shit. Life is too short and it's too intriguing and too amazing to waste my time on anything other than depth.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so, in my experience, I can't say men because I've been in a few different relationships. They're all about 5 or 6 years long, actually. It sounds like an Adam Sandler movie. But I've loved all of them very deeply, and I know that they've loved me too. It's just a matter of... I posted another meme the other day, and it said, it was this little tray, and there was an alligator, and there was a frog, and there was a water spout. And they were pouring the water all over the frog, and the frog was like, oh, fuck, no. And the frog was like... And then they poured it on the alligator, and the alligator came alive. And the meme said, maybe it's not what you're offering, it's who you're offering it to. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I'm not saying there's a right way or a wrong way, or something's right or something's wrong. You need to understand yourself completely before you can understand what type of love you need.
I love that.
But everyone deserves the same thing. And it's empathy and understanding of one another, whatever that is. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that. Before we get into the next question, I think as a whole, that would mean that people would want to be on their own journey to find themselves. I think in finding yourself too, it's like you're able. I heard something the other day, and you're way more successful than me, even Kevin. I just feel honored to just even be in y'all's presence. So someone said,
"No, I'm just kidding."
I
totally fucking...
And Kevin knows I give people their flowers while they're still here.
Yeah, of course. And you should.
Yeah.
And you should.
Yeah. That's something that
everyone should.
I teach my kids. Like, that's something that I just stand on. But I lost my train of thought.
It's there. It's coming back.
But just because every time I talk about my kids, I just you know what it's like being a parent. But okay. So within finding yourself, I saw a quote the other day. It says, you're only as successful as what your nervous system can handle. As you succeed, as you climb this ladder, you get the most hate, you get the most envy, you get the most jealousy. Your nervous system is constantly being attacked. So it's almost impossible to be at a certain success without knowing yourself. But I think most people, I don't want to generalize, but most people run from that. But the beauty in it is that if you know yourself, just like in the Matrix, when he was walking to talk to the Oracle, there was no spoon, right? When he was walking to talk to the Oracle, it was like, know thyself. It was in Latin. And it's basically just like the beauty in knowing yourself, even though the mass run from that, and it can be scary because it is dark, that no matter what anybody says about you, you know yourself down to the bare that it does not affect you, and it doesn't affect your nervous system at all. So yeah, with it, I guess my question is, do you think more people run from that as a collective, or that's something that everybody's just on their journey and they embrace at different times?
I suppose this is a bit of a question of, and I hate to say this term, but it is a question of spirituality. Because as animals, we all have the same basic needs and the basic instincts. It's the biology part of it, right? Biologically, we have to do the same shit, right? It's how deep down that rabbit hole you actually want to go, right? And I do think that quote is true, because people that are too offended or too sensitive or any of those things, I'm not saying people should, suppress their own emotions and everyone should beat the shit out of each other emotionally, right? But I think if someone is telling you the truth and they're coming at you with tough love and they're telling you for real, you can utilize every single piece of that as a tool. And everyone's going to have a different opinion. It's up to you who you open the door for.
Yeah.
Right?
Absolutely.
And that is the question I think everyone debates at points in their lives. We all make mistakes. We all do dumb shit. At the end of the day, you have to ask yourself, is this the best representation of myself? Right? Forgive yourself for making those mistakes. Forgive yourself for doing the dumb shit. But at the end of it, what have you learned from it? And are you going to repeat that same thing again and pass it on? Right? Exactly. Do you identify by that action that you made? Some actions that you do in life, you choose as your cornerstones, and you choose that as a point of your identity. It's up to you to be aware enough and awake enough to see it as a cornerstone and to make that a pivotal point an anchor that you cling on to. If you're not awake or you're not aware, you let those moments pass.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, when you're playing a video game, every so often you get to a point where you're like, yes, I can save from this point. I can save from this point, right? But if you don't grab it, you revert back. You know what I'm saying?
Certain checkpoints.
Yeah.
Checkpoints, right? And so evolution, it's like rock climbing. It's these anchors. You latch yourself here. You latch yourself there. It's up to everyone to decide what they latch themselves to. And we cling on to different things based on what? Because your reality is different than your reality is different than my reality, right? And I would hope that in terms of what the goal is, everyone has different goals, different interests, different intentions, right? But the goal as us as a mass society is to climb that shit together and be like, okay, what have we collectively learned from this? I enjoy your journey. I wish you the best. I enjoy your journey. I wish you the best. I'll see you on the other side. And I would hope that the other side would be the goal. And that goal is gratitude, understanding, and love. That's it at the end of the day. Every human on the planet wants the same thing, unless you're a select list of politicians. but everyone wants the same thing,
right? Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
You want love. You want you want to be understood.
To feel seen.
You want to feel seen. You want to feel loved. You want to accept yourself and have people accept the you that you've accepted. So what you are you accepting? Because that's going to attract who accepts that version of you.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I love it. It sounds like a beautiful utopia. Unfortunately, I don't think we would collectively get there. It would take a while.
Ew, what a
I don't,
bullshit mentality. What a bullshit mentality that is.
No.
Are you Eeyore?
I think it's more being a realist. Like I'm a optimistic. Hold on. I'm
a realist depends on your reality, though.
Hold on. I'm optimistic and a realist at the same time. I want us all to get there. I'm about giving each other grace, even if there's conversations or perspectives that we stand on opposite sides. I want to meet in the middle. I want to find this common ground. I'm talking more as a collective and just being realistic that not everybody feels that way, because a lot of people have not found themselves and they're driven by lots of emotion and stuff that they necessarily don't understand yet. But this utopia, I want us to get there. I would love it. There would be a lot more peace.
Do you want to hear my rabbit hole answer?
We got to get some. Yeah. Well, after this, we're going to get to the next one, but please. Yes.
I think the earth is dividing 3D and 5D truly. And this sounds fucking crazy and rabbit hole-y.
Oh, yeah, we really about to go.
But I really do think there's an old earth and a new earth, and we need to fucking choose, because in terms of quantum physics and the quantum field, everything that could ever happen, every possible situation, you have to steer yourself towards any outcome. It's like fractals, and it'll happen. You need to choose before it happens what the outcome is, and steer your life in the direction of your ultimate truth, what you want, because manifestation is real. It's absolutely fucking real, the good and the bad. So you need to not just hope, you need to believe that what the outcome is has already happened.
As clearly as if you'd already lived it.
And so this exercise I've been doing recently is this thing that I found that I'd advise to all of you guys. It's dorky, but it's awesome.
Put us on.
Journal. But you don't journal from today. You date your journal from a year from now, and you talk about it in past tense as it's already happened. You talk about the feelings as you've already felt them. You talk about the reaction you've already had, because just like dreams, your subconscious does not know the difference between real emotions and the emotions that you have in different realities. So once you put yourself in that and you journal, say, what's today's date? Does anyone know?
January 16th.
Okay, January 6th.
2026. Aaliyah and Sade's birthday. Sorry, go ahead.
Okay, so we're going to journal. January 16th, 2027, right? And you go a year from now and you say, like, I am so grateful this last year has happened. These are all of the things that I am grateful for. I became more aware. This date changed my life. And you talk about it in past sense, because it sets your subconscious on the direction in the quantum field. You've decided, you've taken that quantum leap of what the outcome already is, and you program your subconscious to physically act as if it's already reality. And you don't know the, not you, but your subconscious doesn't know the difference. So it becomes your reality.
Yeah.
Fake it till you make it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. No, it is true. And if anybody does not believe that, I'm going to tell you right now.
I promise.
I am a master manifester. This shit she's spitting right now, before I even knew even as a kid, before I even knew that's what I was doing it, because even up until the point, even getting on Ink Master, all these things was manifestation. There was no reason why I should have met you or you me. You know what I mean? I feel like it was a thing that just like, you know where you want to go. And it's like, if you can feel it and make it real to yourself, you subconsciously will develop a pathway to get there and won't even realize it. You will just know the signs. You just like you see a street sign, that's a green light, I need to go this way. This is a red light, I'm not going that way. You know what I mean? It'll actually manifest itself.
So I went on this loop. I've been on this thing recently because I've been having a really hard time with my algorithm, because it's all bad shit happening. Right? And I was talking to my friend Chris, who I've been friends with forever. Our kids are best friends. And I was like, can you imagine if this happened to your child? Like, what would you do? And Chris said, I don't want to imagine, because that's not my timeline. That was a past timeline of mine. And I feel it so deeply because I've lived it, and I don't choose that for this life. My timeline in this is different. You have to not just want it. You have to decide. Not wanting it, not believing it. You have to decide. You have to choose.
Right.
Choose it.
Right.
And you need to see it. You need to feel it in all of you. Like in all of you. Not just your thoughts, not just your body. In this like plasma middle dimension where you need to literally emanate the result that you want to have. And once you decide that's your reality, it comes into fruition. I promise you.
Yes.
And so world peace and the utopia, that would be nice. No, it is going to be nice. It is going to be nice.
I love that. I think more so, it might be a defense mechanism. I think I try to not put that out there, not just so I'm not let down, because I would love that even for my kids, you know?
But you can't allow yourself to be let down by society, because you're going to let yourself down in the meantime. And you're going to let yourself down because you know what you want, and you're letting society beat you into thinking that that's not a possibility, because what you want and what society is allowing you to believe is reality are different.
Yeah.
What do you want? That's reality.
Yeah. Yeah. You got to come back. Yeah. This is a beautiful conversation. I love this so much. I'm Marcus is looking at with his arms crossed, looking like, y'all better hurry the fuck up.
Yeah.
So.
Look, take the wheel real quick.
No. Let her have the wheel. This is why we have her here. I enjoy stuff like this.
It's important.
It is,
and it's important not just for us. It's important for everyone to have conversations like this, and take it with a grain of salt, and not come out of it feeling like you're wrong or that you, with your tail, come out of it as an experience with gratitude, saying thank you for the change of heart. Thank you for that information. Thank you for that conversation, because now I am changed. Not, I don't want to talk about it because what you believe and what I believe are different. So let's not talk about it. That's the reason you talk about it. Yeah. That's the reason.
I always say people avoid that because they truly don't understand their reasoning.
Well, it ruins Christmas dinner also.
Yeah. That's what makes it better though, you know? Okay, so we're going to switch gears just a little bit. So I want to touch on now tattoo industry stuff. So new artists, there's been a mass wave of artists quitting. This have been artists who've been tattooing over 10 years and some who've been tattooing just a couple of years. How do you feel about that? Cut the shit.
I think wow. Okay, you ready?
I want the
real.
You
actually ready?
I want the real.
You want actually the real?
Yeah, because I'm going to give you the real. So
I am having a hard time giving respect to artists that are demanding respect that have not. Okay, let me rephrase that. I'm having a hard time giving artists respect that have never given the industry the respect that it deserves. I'm having a hard time with artists coming into it thinking this is cool or fun or easy or fast money. That is not the reason to be a tattooer. I think that is a absolutely blatant disrespect for the impact you have on people's lives. And I think to be successful in this industry, really successful in a fulfilling kind of way, not in a blood money kind of way, in a fulfilling kind of way, you need to understand that you're changing people's fucking lives, man. And you need to understand what people went through to make this possible. And I debate this with myself all of the time because I came in at a time where I was right on the cusp of the old way and the new way, right? Mm-hmm. And so I connect with the middle and the balance of it all, right? I think the old timers who paved the way, who carved the path, who made their machines, who formulated this technology, a lot of them are angry and they're bitter, right? Mm-hmm. And they have a right to be, because these new generations coming in, these kids have no fucking tattoos.
We're millennial tattooers.
Get a fucking tattoo. Yeah. How are you going to empathize with your clients or have any love or respect for what it is that we do if you don't have a tattoo?
Yeah.
Oh, my body. Fuck you. That's how I feel, truly.
Yeah, exactly.
I have given my life to this industry. And the reason I was able to do it was because all of those people before me, a lot of them gave their actual lives for this to be a possibility. And for these kids to come in using AI, having their stencils printed out for them as the AI that they didn't create. You're a computer printer. You're a computer printer that's making money. It's a job. Why don't you sit in a fucking toll booth? That's how I feel.
Yeah.
I agree.
Because real art has soul. It has imperfections. It has mistakes. It has evolution. Fuck up. You need to fuck up.
Yeah.
You need to, because you need to find yourself, right? What's the difference between art that I do and art that the computer does? Is I'm doing it with consciousness. I'm doing it based on watching myself create from my mind, right? Alex and Allison Gray have an entire religion, the Chapel of Sacred Mirrors. And it's about how artists are these mediums, where we are these mediums between source and the physical plane. And we bring these things from source and make them real. And it's the translation of that, the individual translation. Everyone has a different accent artistically. Everyone has a different voice. It's that translation that makes it art. It's your choices. It's your fuck-ups. It's your mistakes. It's the same with people. It's the extra freckle that gives you the personality. It's the imperfections, right? And I do have a problem with people thinking they could AI shit, print it out on these printers that print out these stencils perfectly and all of that and replicate. Work in a toll booth, dude. Yeah. That's how I feel. And that's nasty, but it's fucking true. And you know why? It's because I have been so inspired by these artists that create out of their mind, out of their memory, out of their soul, and they give that to people. What musician creates a new hit song every single fucking day? What musician could come out every single day and create a new hit song? That's what we're expected to do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I also understand the balance because of the demand. It's like, how do you do that? So of course people rely on these things. Of course people rely. But I think that you have to have a respect for the industry, for what it is, for the soul of it, for the purpose. And even if you're a realism artist or a replicator, I'm not saying that that's an art form in itself. I can't do that shit. So I can't replicate like you can. No fucking way. Right? But it's your composition. It's your color choices. It's the choices that you make. I have a problem with tattooers coming in that make no fucking choices for themselves, that are doing what they think is popular or what's cool or what's on Pinterest. Mm-hmm. That is not a reason to be in this industry. And this is controversial because as much as I want to keep tattooing underground, I want to keep the heart in it, I want to keep the soul in it, I want to keep all of that shit, I also understand that my part in all of this has been making it more mainstream and making it more, I've played a part in that.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm proud of that because I do think anyone that loves it should have the opportunity to tattoo and to get tattooed. Everyone deserves that opportunity.
Yes.
But not everyone loves it. And the people that are quitting, people are quitting for all different reasons, right? But the people that love it for real are never going to quit.
Exactly.
Are never going to quit, ever. Even if you're not charging money. If I wish I won the lottery so I could, not to be rich, I make enough money, but so that I can do tattoos that are impactful and empowering and important, because that's what tattoos fucking do.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Thank God I make a lot of money tattooing. And I do, because I've worked my fucking ass off. But that's not what makes me feel fulfilled at the end of the day.
Yeah.
It's the look on someone's face when they feel differently about themselves and they're confident and they feel like they've chipped off a piece of their own identity. You give that to people. And the more you care about the art, the more it means to them, because intention is everything. It's like what we were talking about earlier with plants.
Mm-hmm.
It's scientifically proven that plants respond on your energy. Plants, right? They do. They respond to your intention. And everything works that way. And so if you're coming in, printing some shit out, slapping it on, being like, that emanates, that resonates. You know what I'm saying? But when you come in being like, yo, I thought about your story and I thought about this and I created this, that resonates as well, because that's human connection. And that's the power of tattooing. From the beginning of time, tattoos have been powerful. They've been spiritual, but they've been significant. And I hate that we're losing that. I hate it. I hate it.
Yeah.
And so the people that love tattooing are always going to tattoo. It's the people that have a problem with the industry or with the economy or whatever.
Yeah.
And everyone has to survive. I'm not saying anything about that. I'm just saying if you love something, you'll never let it die.
Exactly. How do you feel about that? I'm exactly agreeing with her. I'm like a little bit more raw, like, oh, get out. You know, it's just like, because it's something about me, like the past 8 years, you know, even with having a family and everything, it's like I tattoo over New Year's. I like to I like to end the new year the same way I'm like bringing it in. And this is like everything to me, even coming from a sports background. So like how I feel, bye. Because like, if you don't love it as much as me, I in a way, even though I shouldn't be like projecting this, I get a little offended, because I'm just like, this is my baby. This is everything that I have. This is how I built my legacy and built something from my bloodline. So cut the shit.
For me, it's funny because I don't think that I even self-reflect on how much I love the industry. When I hear about somebody quitting, it's just like, if you make a kid play soccer because all their friends are playing soccer, so they want to play soccer, and then when they start playing soccer, they don't like it, they want to quit, then quit. It's for me, it's as simple as that. If you don't want to do it, don't do it. I don't even think about their reasons, their justifications. I don't like these cleats. I don't like my jersey. I don't like kicking the ball. I don't like running up and down the field. Your reasoning for quitting, I don't even care. The fact is you want to quit. So quit, and I've been tattooing for 20 years at this point. This month actually makes 20 years. And I've been through ups, I've been through downs, I've been in and out. My career has done roller coaster rides. And I'm here. I've seen other people along the way quit. People get regular jobs. I don't even question. I don't even ask them why they quit. Sometimes it's my friends who quit. I don't even ask. That's your decision to make. And to me, I wouldn't want anybody to ask me why I'm quitting something. It's personal.
Someone tattooing you that didn't love tattooing?
I only want people tattooing me who loves tattooing. But before I get tattooed, I've never asked someone, do you love this? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just, for me.
But everyone gets the tattoo that they deserve.
But hold on. But the thing about like this, love, just like with anything, it goes in and out. Like they could love it in that moment. Tomorrow they may not. In the moment when they tattooed me, they could love it. They could want nothing else. Tomorrow that could all change. So to me, it's just like, you are where you are.
Yeah. I'm just saying, no, I agree completely. I agree completely with that, right? And I don't think just like everything else, like I don't think every artist has their best day every day.
Yeah.
And like it's been a lot for me recently too. It's your mentality, because I think art, it's comes out of you, right? Your feelings come out of you. When I'm in a dark place, my art is dark.
Mm-hmm.
When I'm fucked up and I'm hungover and I'm drinking too much, my art's scratchy, dude.
Mm-hmm.
But when I'm happy and I'm fulfilled and I know that I have enough, I'm fulfilled enough to then stretch outward and give to others, my artwork shows that as well. And it's those highs that you're striving for. And for me, the best moments I've ever had tattooing are the moments when I look in the mirror with someone and I know that their life has changed and they can see themselves. There's nothing that feels fulfilling like that, because you left a positive impact. You stuck your finger like this in the ripple, and you stuck your finger in the liquid of life and you caused a ripple that's positive, and that positivity will continue to ripple.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're doing it for the wrong reasons, there's a million other industries that you can exploit. Don't exploit ours.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly.
We love it too much. I love it too much.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's
no,
powerful.
I love that. I honestly, that's to me, I just wanted in this segment, that's what I want it to be about. You know what I mean? Like truths that people don't really explore or talk about, especially from people who you don't really get to hear it raw from. You know what I mean? So yeah, I just feel like it's a beautiful answer. I'm about to pivot real quick. So we do have a group of tattooers here, all from different walks of life, different perspectives. I wanted to know and open the floor to any one of y'all who may or may not have a question for Ryan based off of everything you heard today, or even shit that you may have thought of before you got here. Snow. Okay. What's up, Snow?
It actually goes along with what you were somewhat talking about, just honestly. One of my things is that artists go through ups and downs. We have moments whenever we need to kind of take a little bit of a step back and kind of find ourselves and find something more before we are able to continue with our careers. And I know everybody has gone through that, especially when you've been tattooing for an extended amount of time. And so I'm wondering, how do you give yourself the grace to be able to take like a step back, focus on some other things, but then also not feel guilty for taking that risk, or not feeling selfish for taking that step and taking that time for yourself to focus, let's say, on your family, on your kids, on spirituality, on something that you just want to see in the world is going to end up making you a better person, being able to do a better job. But how do you give yourself grace?
So your mom, I know your mom. You know, they say like the happier you are as a mom, the happier your children are going to be. It's the same way with art, right? whatever feeling you feel on the inside is going to exude on the outside, right? And sometimes you don't want those feelings to show. So it's not only grace you need to give yourself. It's also a response, an awareness and a responsibility of what's exuding out of you, right? And so I've gone through so many periods of tattooing where I'm so uninspired and it's felt like a job, and it's painful to go in because I know that what I'm giving is not my best. And if you know that going into it, you got to take a step back and start back at your foundation and figure out what inspires you. And that's not grace that you have to give yourself. It's a standard responsibility for both your growth and for your clients, right? And so what I do when I'm really uninspired in tattooing is I go to other forms of art, right? I'll make weird sculptures. I've been doing Legos recently. I've probably spent $3,000 on Legos in the last few years. Clay, right? Because just because you're a tattooer doesn't mean you shouldn't exercise other parts of your brain, right? I'm not a sculptor, but I sculpt all the time because sometimes seeing things in 3D, something clicks in your brain and all of a sudden you wake up and you understand how to render something. And so everything is about knowing yourself. The more you know yourself, the more you understand yourself, the more you can love yourself, and the more you can open yourself up to that evolution. Because if you stay in that same box for forever, you're confining yourself, right? And so think about it like seasons. It can't be summer all the time, right? And how beautiful is spring? Because the flowers are blooming and you know that summer is coming, right? And the fall is beautiful once you realize, yes, it's getting colder, but what's about to happen? You're going to go through this cocoon phase, this transitional phase, and something more beautiful is going to blossom on the other side. You know what I mean? Can't rain all the time, you know? And so you have to understand the transitions of it and understand that if you're getting to that point, then you're hitting the next level where you're hitting that point in the cycle where you're about to evolve. You know, it's always darkest before the dawn. So don't get discouraged because you have to quantum leap and know that what's on the other side of that uninspired period is going to be a new phase of inspiration, but it's up to you to find it. You know what I mean? And you got to find it. And it might be in weird places, really weird flea markets and shit, you know?
It's seeing someone like you who like, and it's so refreshing, who like welcomes adversity almost. Like,
have to.
I wouldn't say that's like the general mindset, but I feel like it's a winning mindset. Most people, they run from it. Comfort zone is everything for them. So just hearing someone who's like, adversity, like I need, you know, a challenge, I need something. It's very, very refreshing to hear that.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like I understand those things through experience, though. I've gone through those dark times. I've gone through those very uninspired periods. I felt like quitting the other day. I was like, I think I'm done tattooing.
Mm-hmm.
The other day, I was like, I think I'm done. Right? And it's not that I'm done. It's I'm uninspired. And so what I need to do isn't quit. It's that I need to get re-inspired. And honestly, days like today with you guys and this experience and everything, it is uplifting and it is inspiring because I feel like everyone's going to leave with maybe just a fragment of something new that they didn't have before. But to me, that's progress.
Exactly.
Right? To me, that is what inspiration is.
Right.
And you have to understand life is like fractals. Whatever you focus on comes into fruition. So if it's inspiration that you're desiring, don't expect it to come to you. You have to seek it out.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. Anybody else? Gareth?
Yes, I wrote down to you.
It's like Maury Povich. They hand him the microphone. You are the father.
Yes, I wrote a few notes down. From everything that you guys have talked about, it's beautiful to see how introspective like you are while still remaining grounded. And my question for that is before finding your success in art and life, business, all of that stuff, did you find yourself in a period of insulation from the external world and maybe isolation, like an incubation period? And then if so, how did that experience shape your beliefs currently? And what is the most valuable lesson that you would share with your younger self?
Wow, it's a big one. I think the key to everything is balance. I think I've been going through a cocoon phase recently where for the last few years, because of everything that's been going on, I've avoided people and groups and friends because the question, how are you, was really painful for me to answer because nothing positive or light was going to come out of it. And so I didn't want to answer it. And so I cocooned and I secluded and all of those things. Those, and so many people were like, you need to go out, hang out with your friends, but there are periods where you do need to internalize. You do need to, before you communicate with the outer world, you need to reconnect and communicate with yourself, right? And then try to decide what to keep and carry with you and what to toss out. And so it's only recently, that I've been present enough with myself and remembering who I actually am to have the confidence to go out and have conversations again. I know that sounds crazy, but and I'm finding again that being in groups of people like this and guest spotting and all of that, it's not a taxing thing and it's not a burden anymore, but it was, right? And now I'm finally able to work with groups of tattooers and be reinvigorated and be re-inspired and be able to take in their influence and their energy. But I think you have to be grounded and connected with yourself first and foremost before you can take in anyone else's opinions or inspiration or ideas, because sometimes you question, just like we were talking about with regurgitating past beliefs. It's like, what thoughts and ideas are mine and what thoughts and ideas are being regurgitated? And so it's keeping yourself grounded in a sense where even if you're going through turbulent times, even if you're lost, that core sense of yourself is always there. And you have the ability to decide then what direction it actually goes in. You know what I mean? There's been a lot of times in my career, I've worked by myself in private studios and I've just focused on my tunnel vision of I have this idea, let me figure it out, and 2 years will go by, and then once you figure it out, you're like, okay, I'm comfortable enough with this. What's everyone else doing? You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And then you're comfortable enough to go out into the world and open yourself, not just open yourself, but also accept that in, because it's hard sometimes too. Like at Elysium, we found that we all came in with these different viewpoints and these different artistic ideas. And after a few years, a lot of our tattoos started looking like each other's tattoos, right? And it's not that we were ripping each other off. It's that we were influenced by one another. And so you have to take what you've learned and take that inspiration and then sort of seclude again, sort of sequester again and be like, okay, this is the idea. What is my actual spin on this, right? It's like you get a meatball recipe and you're like, okay, how can I make my meatballs special? You know what I mean? Meatballs always. And so I think it's the balance of all of it truly that that you need to obtain. And you also always have to keep in mind what your intentions actually are. Because throughout your career, your intentions are different, right? Sometimes in your career, you really want to travel and you want to see the world and you want to meet people. And then other times you're like, no, I want to focus on perfecting my technical. I want to focus on perfect. And so everyone goes through this journey and it's not lateral. You know what I mean? I don't think there's a straight trajectory that everyone goes down. I think it's sort of a web and everyone goes different ways at different times and hits different points. And I think once you hit a lot of those points, you can see other tattooers and understand what point they're at when they're at it. And you can trust that process. You know what I mean? But don't ever feel pressured to do things you don't want to do. But you also have to understand that sometimes the most uncomfortable thing to do is that step that's going to bring you to that next level, right? Like there's an artist in my studio that's like, oh, I hate doing conventions. I'm so bad at conventions. I'm like, well, how are you going to get better at conventions if you don't do conventions? You're going to avoid them for the rest of your entire life and just never get better at them? Or are you going to put yourself in the thick of it and make yourself uncomfortable so you can learn? You know what I mean? It's like when you start going to the gym after not going to the gym for 5 years. It fucking sucks. It sucks. It's the worst. And then after a year, it's your routine. It's your habit because you forced yourself to level up in that way. And it all comes down to knowing yourself. you know? And so if you don't spend that time with yourself, then all of your opinions and all of your influence is other people's, not your own. And so you have to figure out who you are and thus figure out what it is that you need to get to the level you want to get at. But everyone wants something different. You know what I mean? Your goals, your aspirations are going to be different than mine, and everyone's are going to be different. And we might all have the same ones, but they don't all happen at the same time, you know?
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
Well, one reason, and to kind of piggyback off that, one reason why I admire Kevin so much is that
because he's so beautiful. Look at him.
Very beautiful and handsome.
He's so cute. He's so cute.
I admire him just so much. You know, I even just working, I've known him for over 10 years, but now we officially been working together 3 months, and I've already learned so much from him. And one of the main things that I've picked up from him is that he's basically just like, if I know, and this is not verbatim, of course, but it's like, if I know that I'm fearful or scared of something, that is why I must do it. And it's just, it's so powerful. I don't think most people approach things like this, but I can appreciate him from that standpoint. It has even inspired me to do things that I wouldn't necessarily do, you know, just right off rip. So yeah, it's a beautiful thing, man. Your flowers. There you go. But yeah, I agree with everything you said. It's very, very strong.
I think it's humbling yourself to understand that people are good at different things, right? And if somebody's really good at something, instead of jealousy or instead of envying them or whatever, learn from them. Humble yourself to learn from them, you know? Working at Elysium has humbled my ass because, you know, I'm Ray and Ashley and all that shit. Mm-hmm. These motherfuckers could tattoo circles around me. Mm-hmm. Most days, right? They would whoop my fucking ass in a lot of stuff, right? That doesn't mean they're better than me at everything or I'm better than them. You just have to understand that you have to pick up little pieces throughout your whole life. And you can choose what you take with you, like I said, right? But instead of ever feeling intimidated or any of that, you need to really come to terms with the areas that you could improve and humble yourself enough to have your eyes open enough to see who's doing it correctly and learn from them about that thing. I learn all of the time. Every collaboration I've ever done, do collaborations. Holy shit. Do collaborations. Do them. Because you think you know how to tattoo until you do a collaboration, and then you're like, what am I doing?
Until you're right next to the person. It's just like, God damn. Oh,
right.
Okay.
And everyone is different. Every collab I've done, I've taken something from. Do collaborations and work with each other. You understand each other so much more. And it's such a give and take. I don't think gatekeeping is necessarily the answer. I think you should protect what you've earned and everything. But why are you... Don't withhold shit. I'm not intimidated to tell people my whole process. You can watch me tattoo. I'll talk to you about it all day long. Mm-hmm. Because what do I think? You're going to take my job? Like, take my fucking job. That'll force me to evolve. Mm-hmm. Then who am I next then? What's my next step then? Mm-hmm. Right?
Yeah.
So don't ever be intimidated by growth like that. I think that's what happens is people are just scared of
peaks and valleys.
Yeah, peaks and valleys, always.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I think when it comes to gatekeeping, just the other side is that what I've experienced, at first I was the same way. It was like, after owning a shop, completely different, but I was like, no, share knowledge, take this, learn this. Like you evolve, we all evolve, but I think it's more so protecting, like you said, what we have, because there are a lot of takers out there. You know, they want to know what you have and just run with it without even giving credit. But one of my mentors had told me, he said, you basically do it. You don't change what you do. You do it for the people who are going to cherish it and be grateful for it. You don't pick and choose who you give that information to.
But you also have to think that you can't stay in your comfort zone and identify with that either and think you're the only one that's ever going to be able to do it. And I think if people don't rip off your shit, then you're not doing a good job. If people are ripping off your shit, you're doing something right. And you should keep that going. Mm-hmm. Do you stop there and you stop evolving there because everyone figured out your formula? Or do you make a new formula?
No, I love it. I love it. And on that note, I swear to God, these batteries must die. They're telling me these batteries must die.
Hey, we're done.
So no, in real life, Ryan, I could literally talk to you for, I mean, even when we talked, you confirming that you were going to come, we were talking for like an hour. I said, you know what, let's pause this. Let's pause this and save it for the show. But quite literally, you are like one of the most influential, inspirational, beautiful souls I have ever met being in this industry.
Thank you.
And like literally never change who you are unless it's obviously you're going to change. You know, change is always good. But who you are at your core, like, please always say the same. I know you will.
Thank you. You too.
Yes.
And that's why I'm here, is because honestly, what I've learned through all of it is real knows real.
Yeah.
You know, deep down, trust your gut. Good people are good people. And when they show up for you, you show up for them. And that's harmony. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yes.
Absolutely.
Kumbaya, motherfucker.
Give it up for Ryan Ashley, y'all, please.
Yay!